how's it going, guys? And I think some people in today who aren't into tech might assume that a bigger phone and bigger price tag might indicate a better phone. This can be quite deceiving if you're new to these kinds of things, so I thought to myself, why don't I get the most similar spec devices in my collection and compare the two in terms of price, performance and size. So our first contender is the Microsoft Lumia 640 XL LTE, which I'll be referring to as 640 because of the really long name. Now the 640 will be going up against the Galaxy Core Prime, which I'll nickname Prime for obvious reasons. So Prime was released at the end of 2014 and 640 was released at the start of 2015. Release date can play a role in performance, as in the past smartphone companies did wait till their competitors would release a phone and use that as indicators on what to improve on further. Now a side-by-side comparison between the two, and the 640 is clearly the grandmaster when it comes to its weight class. Coming in at 171 grams, the 640 wins this battle. But it's when we get to the price where the 640 starts shaking in its boots. You see, the Prime is price tagged at 150 euros and the 640 at 200. And when we take a look at the spec sheet, it's pretty hard to tell who takes the cake home. Let me break it down for you by analyzing three components: the chipset, the CPU and the GPU. In terms of CPU, the Prime uses a Snapdragon 410 and the 640 uses a Snapdragon 400. So it is pretty obvious who wins. Higher number always means better performance, right? And in this case I'll be right. Moving on to the CPU, both devices use 1.2 GHz quad-core processors, the only difference being the version of the CPU used. The Prime uses a A53 and the 640 the Cortex A7. And like I mentioned earlier, higher number means better performance, right? Well, in this case you'd be wrong. The A53 is a more flexible CPU than its rival the A7, despite the lower number in name. Finally, we move on to the GPU. The GPU tends to be the deal breaker, as in most cases, a better GPU will ultimately mean a better phone. The Prime uses the Adreno 306 and the 640 uses the 305. Both GPUs are identical in terms of specs, but the only difference being the features. The Adreno 306 has OpenCL 1.1e and the 305 not having it at all. Now the size of the 640 is quite deceiving, as it does add to the price tag in a way. Consumers are more likely to buy the bigger product if the price is matched and if it is supposedly sounds better. So in my opinion, the Samsung Galaxy Core Prime takes a win in this phone comparison. There are obviously many factors that could have made this test a lot fairer, but that's all the time I have, and before you leave, a like and subscribe will be much appreciated, and I'll see you guys in another video. Peace.